Hi, welcome back to our channel. This is Elizabeth.
And I'm Scott.
And we're going to be talking about what happened after we talked about our conversation of me possibly becoming a shaman. So here we are.
Yeah, the next step in the journey.
Yeah, so we decided that we are going to pursue it. I'm going to pursue it. Like, why not, Might as well do my master's and become a shaman all at the same time.
Yeah, if there's any time, now is probably the easiest and best time to try and get everything done.
Yeah.
Say that.
Yep. And so now that we've decided that I am going to pursue this, Scott's going to support me, and we're going to follow through with this path. I asked the master shaman who did my Shai if I could do the shake test with her to see if she could be my teacher. And so I made an appointment for that. And during the time when I made the appointment for the shake test, like waiting for it to happen, was like forever.
Yeah, we had to wait like 4 or 5 months before.
No, it wasn't even. I think it was like
pretty fast.
It was like July, and then waited like 2 months maybe.
Okay, like 2 months.
Yeah, and then
felt longer.
It did, and so during that time, I was like having dreams, and I was meditating a lot, trying to ask my guides if this is my teacher, and all of the dreams and the answers I'd get was pointing like, yes, this is my teacher. But then again, so one of the things that I kind of struggle with is trusting the process and kind of letting go. And so, I mean, I feel like, to be fair, a lot of people feel that way, unless it's like in your face, like you have a hard time believing it. But for me, that was very true for me. And so I'm learning to let go and just accepting things as they come. And so comes the time where we are planning our trip out to Minnesota. So that's where my teacher lives, and that's where her shrine is. And that was great because, okay, before we even like decided to, follow the shaman path, we really wanted to think about moving out of, so we live in California, and we were thinking of moving out of California because it's really expensive. And we were thinking of Texas or Minnesota and possibly even Florida, but definitely not Florida, not with all those hurricanes. I don't want to deal with that. And so Florida's out the picture, but for sure, like Texas was a big contender.
Between Texas and Minnesota, I think.
Yeah.
And we ultimately, even before this, we decided on Minnesota purely because we wanted seasons. You don't really get seasons in Texas. Even though everyone always tells us we want seasons until we get there, and everyone's like, it's cold and there's snow.
Yeah.
So we'll figure that out when we get there.
Yeah, honestly, like, I guess we don't know how good we have it with good weather until you're in it. But I don't know. I feel like we're in a pretty nice type of career where, like, as therapists, if we're snowed in, we could just do telehealth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
hopefully we don't have to deal with the snow too much.
Yeah. Although I am concerned about all those rust that
salt on the cars.
Yeah, that was something I was not expecting. And so, but anyways, so we planned our trip out to Minnesota to visit the Twin Cities, St. Paul and Minneapolis. And flying there, like, just journeying to Minnesota was really scary and also intriguing all at the same time, because our son at the time, sorry, I think he was like,
I want to say he was maybe
18 months? No.
Yeah, a year and like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, he's still very little. Like, he can walk, but he just learned how to walk. And so we're going, and he had the taste of freedom of like walking around in the airport because we heard other parents' advice to let the kid out of the stroller, let them run around.
Burn off their energy.
Yeah, burn off their energy. Boy, we did that, and then it was time to get into the plane, and he was crying so bad because we were pulling him away from the walk path. And you could just see all the other passengers, and they're looking at Theo, and they're like, I mean, some of them, they were like smiling and laughing, but then I could see like the look of doom on like all the other passengers.
Everyone was like, man, this is gonna be a long flight.
Yeah.
Because it was nonstop, 5.5 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he actually did amazing once he got on the plane.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did really good.
And then when we got to
Minneapolis.
Yeah, Minneapolis. Oh my gosh, there's so many pools of water. Like when we were up in the sky, there was ponds splattered everywhere.
That's why
and
they're called like 10,000 lakes.
I know.
There's a lot of them.
I got to see it for the first time, and I was just really amazed by how beautiful it looked.
Yeah.
And so I was really excited when we landed. Rental cars.
Rental cars was rough because we were trying to do it with Hertz, but something happened.
They didn't accept.
Oh yeah, we wanted to use a debit
card.
card. We didn't use any credit cards.
Yeah.
And they were freaking out that we weren't using a credit card, so we ended up having to go
for a deposit.
Yeah, so we ended up going to Sixt, and it was a great experience. They gave us a car quickly, and
yeah, we love Sixt.
I would recommend them if you ever travel and want a rental car. I would say go with Sixt. It was
We're not sponsored, by the way.
Absolutely
we just had a really nice experience with Sixt. Like the line was out the door for that other.
Yeah, it was Hertz, and all the main ones was in one line, and then Sixt was just off on its own, and there was no line, so it was pretty.
They
nice.
would like had a red carpet for their clients.
They were, and they heard us they heard what was happening with us and Hertz, and they were just like, "Oh, just come over here, and we got you. Come over here," and they did. So it was nice.
Yeah, and we got a nice car, a nice SUV, and we stayed at a hotel right next to the airport, which was really nice because every morning we got to see like all of the people trying to get to the airport. We got to see planes take off and land.
Yeah, because our hotel was on the airport and it was facing one of the runways. And I was concerned about the sound, but we really didn't even hear the planes, which is kind of fascinating.
No. And it was really nice because we got to see St. Paul and then Minneapolis. And so it was really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we got there, we got to explore, the cities and the neighborhood. Oh my gosh. You guys who live in Minnesota, precisely in Minneapolis, you guys are blessed with beautiful sceneries, the grassy parks. Oh, by around the time that we went, it was around like September.
No, I think it was August.
Oh, August. Yeah. August, and it was so beautiful. I love how many people was outside, doing outdoorsy thing, walking, paddle boating.
Yeah, because it was only like 70 degrees there, where in California at that time it was like 110 where we lived. So it was nice seeing everyone out and actually everything green, because in California during that time,
it's gold.
It's all gold because there's no rain and everything's dead and everything's brown. And it was interesting seeing green. Yeah. Somewhere that during that time frame, like August, it's never green.
Yes. And what cities did we visit, honey?
Oh, we went to Uptown, obviously, because I believe that's where
that's
your
where
teacher
my
is in Uptown. We went to Blaine. The reason we drove up to Blaine was mainly for the shaman tools, because the person we were buying it from was in Blaine. While we were out in Blaine, we looked at some houses, purely because we had like an hour before our appointment, because we weren't sure how long it was going to take to get there.
Yeah, and I'm glad we did, because I was really curious about like what the homes look like inside.
Yeah, compared to like California.
Yeah.
And we've never seen...
That's his favorite pastime, is looking at model homes.
I love looking at houses just to see what you get. And what I found interesting is Minnesota doesn't have fences.
Yeah.
compared to
That was a little
California.
bit weird.
Yeah, nothing was fenced off, and they were like, "Well, you can get a permit to get a fence." And I was like, "Oh,
Wait, so you have to get a permit?
I believe so. I could be wrong, but yeah, that was weird. We're not used to basements, but that's one of the things we're actually looking forward to is having basements. At least for me.
Well, the finished basements, okay?
Yeah,
the one
basements.
that we saw in the model homes, those look nice. Besides the door that opened into like where all the panels are at, that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Because it was still cement and it looked very cold.
And then the Four Season room.
Yeah.
Thing. I've never even heard of that before until we went out there.
It's so dreamy.
But that was pretty
Four
cool.
Season room, like California could never.
No, absolutely not.
At a premium.
For sure. Some of the other places we went, Richfield. We obviously visited St. Paul, Eden Prairie, and Prior Lake. We went out to Prior Lake purely because we went to look at the casino that was out there. It was one of the larger ones, the Mystic Lake Casino.
Mm-hmm.
And on the way back, we drove through Prairie Lake. So we're just kind of traveling to as many places as we could in our 4-day adventure.
Yeah, we were only there for like Monday through Friday.
Yep.
And we definitely visited Mall of America. It is so beautiful and big and Nickelodeon World. Wow. Dream come true for like a kid. My daughter had so much fun there. She did not want to leave Mall of America.
Yeah, and I would say we've been to a lot of malls.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the things we like to do out here is go to different malls, see what people have. But Mall of America was a whole different beast. There were so many levels, and it was so large. The food options was insane. And
yeah, there was restaurant. Okay, there's the food court, and then there's tons of restaurants, like tons.
Yeah, and there was like a food court on one side, and then you go to the other side, and there's another food court. And then Nickelodeon Land, and it all being enclosed and not outside. So
that
when
was
it does
really
snow,
cool.
you can still go there. It was very fast. We weren't there nearly long enough. We were only there for 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yeah, I know.
And we tried to do everything we could.
Yeah.
It was just too big. It was crazy. And the assortment of stores that was there, like
there were so many
variety.
Small shops. Not like those big name brand big box stores. There's actually like small mom and pop shops in there. And that's something that we're not used to seeing in California.
Yeah, definitely not at our mall.
No.
Our mall is just
a lot of big name brands only. Like
yeah, it was Mall of America was really cool. It's one of the things we're looking forward to seeing when we go back.
Mm-hmm. And then after visiting Mall of America, we visited Hmong Village because, I gotta see where my people are at because I'm gonna be there almost every day eating dinner there.
The food was crazy. There were so many food vendors there. That was one of the...
I would never cook.
That was one of the crazier parts
I would never cook.
saw.
I loved the assortment of ready-to-go Hmong food. Like, that's a dream come true for me.
Yeah.
And then we got to explore like the the massive stalls of different types of vendors. And then we got to explore like the farmers market area.
Because they had a nice little grocery store in there that had a bunch of the Hmong groceries. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. And there was like a lot of like fresh herbs and fruits. And then they even have a apothecary, which was really cool too. We went in there to peek and then we like went out, but it was super cool to see all of like the dried herbs and whatnot.
Yeah. You were struggling though. You were having a pretty rough time in there.
Oh, you mean spiritually?
Yeah, with all the spirits.
Okay,
You were
so
drunk.
I don't know if... For me, when I experience spiritual things, especially when there's a lot of spirits nearby, it feels like a spinning teacup for me. I get really like dizzy, because I'm being constant. I feel like I'm in a wave pool that's in a circle, and I'm constantly having to try and balance myself. And Lord, if there is something that is like trying to communicate to me, I do not hear. I get images and then I guess I kind of, okay. I don't hear as in like we're talking to each other. I hear in a sense where it's like a voice in the back of my head that just kind of like pops up, almost like an intrusive thought. That is my hearing. And so when that happens, I get really bad headaches. And so when we were at Hmong village, that happened when we were going towards the food court area. That's how I knew like we were being followed. But it was kind of annoying because I really just wanted to enjoy my food.
It would be interesting to see how you react now that you've actually risen.
I still don't want to. No, thank you.
Well, I mean, you're going to because you said you're going to be there buying food all the
Yeah,
time.
you're right. But that was not fun to experience. But I did still enjoy all of the vendors.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
It was a nice place. After that, we went to the shake test, and that was in the evening.
Oh man, I remember like us driving, not even driving to the shake test yet, because before you do a shake test, you're supposed to clean yourself, right?
Yeah.
And by cleaning, you have to burn like 3 jaw strip over like normal tap water, and you pour it over yourself. That's just clean you spiritually. And I just remember doing that. It felt like such a unique ritual that I've never done before, but it felt so like natural, and it felt so like empowering as well. And so it was like the first step towards embarking on this journey as a shaman. And so I remember doing that in the shower and then cleaning myself. It felt really nice. And then when we were driving to do the shake test, I was so nervous because I was like, what if I go and I don't shake? Because I have no history of any seizures. And so I'm like, the hell do you mean? Like, I'm going to shake. Like,
that was the one thing you were most concerned about.
Yeah.
Up. The only thing you kept saying is, what if I don't shake? And you kept saying, everyone kept telling you, you're going to shake. You have nothing to worry about. But up until even as we were driving there, you were still.
Well, yeah, because like, until it happens, like, I'm not going to believe it,
Yeah.
And my body never did that, so like I can still feel that anxiety that I did on that day when we went to the shake test, as I'm like kind of reliving through it to tell you. So yeah, when we got there,
it was a solid like hour drive to get there because of traffic.
Oh yeah. And got there and saw my teacher's place. It was so beautiful. So when we got there, you have to go through like a main entryway that is shared by the residents there.
Yeah, and it's like a really old historic looking building too.
Yeah. Cool. And that stairwell to go up to her office. Oh my gosh, there was like the spirit. I do not see. I don't see anything, but there was something there that was really strong, and it like kind of knocked me back a bit, It was a struggle going up that stair.
Yeah, it was the third step, I remember.
Yes.
Even when you were leaving, you got to the third step, you're like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. And so when we got upstairs, I was like, well, that was weird. And then when we got into my teacher's actual office, it was even worse because there was so many spiritual things going on in her office. It's because she has like these spirits there to protect her office, and they live there. And so it felt like I was being greeted by a bunch of like, when you go to someone's house and they have dogs and they're like barking, and then they're coming up to you. Maybe some are jumping on you, some sniffing your feet, some smelling your butt, some are, doing whatever. They're like all over you. That was what it felt like for me when I went into my teacher's office.
Yeah.
Whew, there was so much spiritual, like, curiosity.
Sadly, I didn't feel anything. It felt normal to me.
I wish. It was so hard. It was so hard to, like, calm my nerves down. Even just talking about it, my spirit guides are, like, getting really excited because I feel like that jitteriness. But it was so hard to calm down because of what was happening in her space. And then, I'm going to do the shake test that depends on me shaking that I've never done before. So it's like going to a test that I didn't study for. Anyways.
And it's funny because everyone kept saying there's really nothing you can do because it's all reliant on your spirit guides.
Yeah.
You're just a vessel.
But I'm just like hoping that she could be my teacher, because I really want a teacher whose values, whose lifestyle, whose beliefs and ideology really matches with mine, because I don't want to put up with a teacher that I clash a lot with, and I have to just I don't want to okay. Not like in that way. Do you know what that means?
No.
So is like basically suck it up. Like being patient and just inhale and exhale and just let it go.
You kept threatening your spirit guides.
Oh, I was not threatening them.
Yeah, you were
no,
like,
I was not.
If you don't shake, you're probably not gonna be doing this for the next 3-4 years. Just so you know.
I was not threatening them. I was telling them, this is not my teacher. We will have to wait, because I want to vet my teacher as much as they're going to vet me. I'm going to be vetting them as well. I need to make sure that we are a good match, because again, raising up those levels in Shrine, they're not cheap, okay? They're not. And flying out to teachers that I would align with, there's none in California. So those plane tickets, they're gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
And so so I told my spirit guides, like, if you do not shake, like if you do not take me and shake, we will have to wait until I have time to go research and search for the proper sifu for us. And that could be 5 to 10 years. Because
it's like a threat to me.
it wasn't a threat. Anyways, and so got to do the shake test thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, first, my teacher had me sign a waiver and all those documents for legality purpose. And then she oh my god, it's almost like a test. Like, if my teacher is ever watching this, she's like, so what did you do? But okay, from what I can remember, and this may not be in the chronological order, but I remember dipping my finger, I remember dipping my finger into the cups, it's like part of the ritual. And then I remember throwing rice grain over my shoulders. And then I remember ringing the bell. And then I had to choose junings, which are the bells that goes around your finger and your thumb. I had to choose 2 sets. And then I remember like feeling like, in video games where they ask you to choose your Pokemon or choose your weapon. It's like a sword, a shield, or an orb for magic. And it felt like that moment, like, which one am I picking that I'm not seeing? We're certain. But then my teacher's like, it doesn't matter which one you pick. So I was like, okay, well, that moment's gone. So I just picked 2 sets. And then she handed me the shaman cap, the student cap for me to wear. It was her student cap. And so I wore that. And then And so this is the part where I sat on her bench, and then she spritz holy water to cleanse me, and then she was chanting, and then oh, by the way, my eyes, they're contact lenses. These are not my natural eye color. I wish. Just kidding. These are not my real eye color, and I wear them because I am blind as a bat. And so I had them in, and I wasn't aware that you're not supposed to not have unnatural things on. So like any metal or eye contacts in this case. I wasn't supposed to have this on, but in that moment I didn't know that, and I didn't bring any contact lens case thing, and so I just kept them in. But just in case, if you're going for a shake test, don't wear contact lenses. Bring your contact case so you can take it off. But anyway, so going back, I sat down on my teacher's bench. She was cleaning me with holy water. Because she drinks it and she like spits it out at you. And so again, I've never participated in a shaman ritual or anything before, so this was my first time experiencing that. And it's gross, but it's not gross at the same time. So I put my shaman veil, the tiho, down, and then she started chanting and she started stomping everywhere, right? Yep. I remember her stomping everywhere. And then they started ringing the gong. And I'm just like holding my jinings in my hand. And first I felt like a quiver with my hand. I'm like, oh, maybe it's just the nerves, like I'm nervous. And then next thing you know, both hands started doing this, and they were making noise. I'm like, oh my god, the jining's making noise, I'm shaking my hands. And then the next thing you know, it's like full-blown like shaking. I am sorry, I'm reminiscing. But yeah, I just remember shaking, and then I remember hearing Scott and my teacher whispering to each other and talking, and I'm like, what are they talking about? I want to know it too. Like, what am I doing? Like, what am I supposed to do? And then I remember
and we were simply talking in the back, like she was trying to explain to me what she's looking for what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh,
is your movements going good? Are you keeping rhythm? And she's pretty much explaining everything that she's hoping that you do.
Did I?
Moving forward, obviously we're here.
I don't know.
We're here.
You tell me. That was.
And then,
see, I really wanted to know.
And then there were times where she knew that you were supposed to be standing up, but you didn't know if you were supposed to stand up. So she had to tell you, like, I think they want you to stand up.
They sure did. I stood up all right, and then I kept taking, like, I noticed myself, and I remember that my teacher was like, when you do that, when you get that feeling, they want you to dineng, which is to the like noise, and I did that. That was the first time I ever did it. It was like, you know, it was like really ta-ta, yeah. And you know, not really that strong, but I did it. And then I was shaking, you know, and then my teacher, she's like, why aren't you singing? I hear them singing to you. Why aren't you singing? I heard the birds chirping, and I'm like, is that the goal? I heard her AC unit. I was like, is that my song? I was like, I don't hear anything. What do you mean? I was like, teacher, I don't hear anything. And then she was like, but as I was saying that, I remember, first of all, I felt this wave of water going over me, and I felt water sensation going across my ankles. And I saw this path. It's like a dirt path, and it's dirt. It's straight, and then it's curvy, and it's really curvy, and then I can't really see like to the side. It was just a dirt path and it was curvy. And I remember walking, following that path. And then I appeared on this mountain cliff, this sharp mountain cliff. And I saw myself in an anime looking cartoon standing there with this Chinese woman who, nothing was audible, okay? Again, I did not hear anything. And so she was doing this. She was smiling at me and she just kept like that, out to the mountain. I'm like, just say, ah, is that what you want me to do? Just say, ah. She was trying to tell me, just open my voice and I'll sing. That's what she was trying to tell me. But my, trying not to curse, my clueless self, I didn't know what the heck she was trying to tell me to do. So I was like, ah, and then that was me singing for the first time. I was just going, ah, and eventually there was like some rhythm to it.
Yeah, you slowly started to get into a rhythm, and same with when you were shaking the bells.
Yeah.
Everything started to slowly come to, and then that's when you finally stood up, and that's when you started shaking a little bit harder.
Yeah, I was shaking, and then they like raised my arms up. They were trying to make me shake harder. I was not doing any of the shaking, okay? My guides were doing the shaking, but they were trying to tell me to, help them shake, Like they do the rhythm, but they need a little help of my strength to also do it. Because when I go out of rhythm, they correct me. they correct me. But I didn't know I was supposed to help them. I thought they did it all, and I was just, accepting it.
Yeah, because your teacher was like, they want your help.
I was like, what do you mean? Why am I so weak?
You did. You were like,
I'm just kidding. You're not weak.
I thought y'all did everything.
You're not weak. But then, yeah, they let me down, and I lifted up my t-haw, and then I looked at my teacher and Scott, and I was like, wow. So did I pass? What do we do now? What happens now? And thank God, in my teacher's lineage, you don't have to do the traditional way of asking him or her to be your teacher. As a matter of fact, I don't even recall asking my teacher if she could be my teacher. She just began telling us the next step, like buying the tools and all that other jazz. I'll get to in a bit. But then I remember asking her, I was like, no, actually I didn't ask her. It wasn't until like a few days later when we got home that I messaged her. I was like, I don't recall ever asking you to be my teacher. Is there a formal way that we're supposed to do it? And she was like, no. So in her lineage, she wants to make it easier for people to become shamans and to seek services without the traditional way of asking. And so that was good. I like that.
Yeah.
It made it really easy. We didn't have to go bring a chicken and stack of joss money and incense sticks, because we were prepared to do that. I even looked up chicken places, but we didn't have to do that, thank goodness. And it was really easy. But man, after I lifted my veil up and looked at you and my teacher, everything was such a blur. Do you remember, can you recall some of the pieces that happened after I finished the shake test?
I wouldn't say much happened. We were just talking about what the next steps were. And she was giving you the rundown of what tools you're going to need, pretty much everything you're going to need.
I literally felt like Harry. Here's the list that you need.
Yeah.
To have, on your shrine.
Yep.
And to go to check out Hmong village and look at all the tools, shake it, see if it sounds nice to you before you buy it.
Yeah, because they recommended us buying it out there because they said it's cheaper to
yeah.
buy it out there than it was in California.
Mm-hmm.
And we went and looked, and when we came back, and it was definitely cheaper out there.
Luckily, I made an appointment to meet with a private vendor who sells shaman tools out there. She lives in Blaine.
Yeah, that's why we ended up going to Blaine, which is why
Yeah.
we had that extra hour. We were waiting for an appointment with her, and she had pretty much everything. Yeah.
I got everything there.
Yeah, I was gonna say it was a pretty good price too, because I think we got everything for right around $800, and that was gong, sword,
and then
2 pairs of horn.
And then my tunings, and she gave us a gong stick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the money, the bar.
Oh, the silver bars.
Yeah.
What else? Was that it?
I think that was it. Oh gosh, I feel like I have to sneeze. Yeah, for the most part, that was about it.
Okay.
And then we sent a picture to our teacher, and then she really liked my tools, and she was really happy about the price that I paid for them. It was a really good deal, so it was nice to know that I was getting a good deal and I wasn't getting ripped off. But it was such a surreal moment for me. I remember when I left my teacher's office, I remember going outside after being pushed out by that spirit in the stairwell, practically. But I was outside and I just did the Asian squat and I just hugged my freaking legs and I was just breathing in air because I was just so like, I don't know what's the word to describe it. I was relieved. I was anxious. I was happy.
We're going through all the
wow.
emotions.
Yeah. Like my body was shaking. I did not shake it. Okay. I was trying to make sense of it, of what just happened, and trying really hard to believe my experience, because as a shaman you really have to believe your experience. If you don't, who else will? Like, you have to be there for yourself, especially,
Yep.
My husband can only do so much, but above all, I have to believe in my own experience. And so I was trying really hard to just process what just happened. But I remember that moment was holy crap, my life is going in a way that I've never imagined I would go. And I feel happy about it.
It was an exciting moment.
Yeah, it was a really nice, wholesome moment. Even though it looked like it didn't, because, I'm out on the sidewalk, hunched over, looking like I was crying or something. I wasn't. I was just breathing and trying to process what just happened.
Yeah.
But I swear, everything ever since I did the shake test, it felt like everything was amplified, sensing spirits. It was not fun. No. Going to the airport was not fun. There's a ton of spirits in the airports, and I did not like that at all.
No, you didn't.
No.
You kept saying it.
Yes. I hated it so much.
And then the last thing that we did, we were meeting up with your teacher the next day, and we really wanted to go and see what the Asian grocery stores look like out there, because out here where we live, there's not any large Asian grocery stores. We usually have to drive about 45 minutes to get to one of the ones that we're used to. So we were like, well, let's see what they have out there. And we ended up going to a place called United Noodles.
Yeah,
we thought was fascinating.
Cute.
It was. I think it was. We went that one because it was closest.
I remember making a comment like, "That sounds more like a noodle restaurant. Are you sure this is like an Asian grocery store?" But he was like, "Yes, this is an Asian grocery store."
So we went there, and the main reason we were going there was to check it out. But we also needed to buy. You wanted to buy some eggs before we went back to your teachers because you wanted to give her guide some eggs because we didn't bring them anything for this when we went to do the shake. So yeah, we wanted to pick up some eggs and we went to that store, and it was fascinating because it had Hawaiian food restaurant like right in the center of it, and it was actually pretty good.
Yes, it does taste like authentic Hawaiian food. Yes, we've been to Hawaii. Yes, we've had authentic Hawaiian food, and it tasted
that was pretty good.
Really, like, I miss Hawaii's food so much. Oh, the ABC store.
Hawaii was really cool.
Anyways, back to Minnesota. The grocery store was really nice. I could see us walking there like a normal Tuesday in the afternoon grocery shopping.
And to be honest, there were so many like Asian grocery stores to choose from. That was just the one that was closest to where we were. So it was nice seeing that there was a bunch of options. So that was something we're looking forward to when we move out there eventually.
Yeah. So far, Minnesota is still the place that we really want to move to. 2028.
2028, because we want to get licensed in California.
As therapists.
As therapists, and then transfer out to Minnesota as well.
Yep. That is the plan.
Yeah, that's the end of the trip to Minnesota.
I was so sad leaving. I fell in love with Minnesota.
So did our daughter. Our daughter was pretty sad. Everyone was pretty sad leaving.
Yeah.
None of us really wanted to go.
But soon. Minnesota, I'm coming soon. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to our story and our tangent.
Our journey.
Yeah, it was really nice reminiscing that with you guys and with Scott.
Yeah.
And so we will see you in the next video.
Yep, we'll see you in the next one. Bye.